Whoa. I am sitting down to just verbalize my goals and I guess resolutions for the new year. I'm setting them up more as goals that I want to achieve than resolutions, just because of the wording. You know, resolutions get dropped so fast. Just wanted to go over them. I thought it'd be fun. It is January 2nd. I've already started some of these. Here's what I got. And I wrote this out early December. I started thinking about this stuff. I've got quite a list. I've got clean the garage. It's kind of become our dumping ground. We can't even get in it right now, which is whatever. I'm not going to feel bad about the state that I'm in right now. I just need to move forward and get things corrected. Garage is a mess. That's okay. I want to redo the 2 bathrooms in my house. They need to be painted. We moved in a couple of years ago. I've redone the kids' rooms, but all the other spaces have yet to be done. So I'd like to paint and maybe change out the sink. I guess there's not a whole lot to do. We were talking about kind of changing the toilets out, but that'll probably be more like summer projects. But both bathrooms need to be done. I don't want to buy bread this year. Last year I talked about not buying bread, making all my own bread, and over the course of last year I learned how to make different breads. I could make the crusty bread and we use that for soup, but I've made it better this year. I've made some other types of bread, and so this year I just want to go kind of full force into not buying bread. And actually it's super funny because remember the other day I was hungry, and so I made a grilled cheese, and I took just the store-bought bread because that's what we had, and it was so sweet. I said to my husband, I'm like, this is like eating cake. Like, I haven't really been eating store-bought bread, and I don't eat a lot of bread in general, but that bread, after not having it for so long, was so sweet. And it was like, I couldn't even finish the grilled cheese. I gave him the other half, and he was like, tastes fine to me, which is funny, but I did make sandwiches last night with the same bread. Didn't taste as sweet, but I don't know, something about the cheese and the tomato must have brought out the sweetness in the bread. I'm not really sure what was happening, but it cemented for me that I really want to start making my own bread, because that bread has like a laundry list of stuff in it, which is ridiculous to me. So that is something I'm going to go really hard on this year, is not buying any bread from the stores. I'd like to pay off our debt. We are trying to finish up our old house. There were repairs and things that need to be done. And once we sell that, we're hoping we can clear out a lot of the debt that is directly correlated with the expense of that house. So it's kind of like once the house is sold, we'll be able to clear most of our debt kind of thing. So I'm hoping that happens this year because I am really sick of that project. I'd like to save an emergency fund. We had some things come up at the end of last year and I didn't have an emergency fund, and I'm grateful my daughter had an emergency fund and she could help us out with that. So that kind of puts it into perspective for me that I really need to have that, you know, cash on hand baby emergency fund. I think Dave Ramsey calls it that $1,000 emergency fund. So that's what I'm shooting for. I'd like to put away 5% weekly out of my husband's check. I started doing that last summer, and I would just take a little bit and put it away every week. You don't really notice 5%. You do. I mean, we live paycheck to paycheck, so it's like you do notice it, but also it's a manageable amount. But I did have to pull money out of that for some of the stuff that happened last year, which I'm not getting into, but like that, I was trying to save that for Christmas so that Christmas wouldn't hit us so hard, and it didn't happen because I had to use that money for other things. And so now I'm starting this year right away doing that because I feel like it was a good plan, and then we won't have to worry about like the cost of Christmas or anything really. I'm hoping I can use it as a gift fund throughout the year so that I don't have to try to come up with money for presents or parties or the meals. I usually buy like special, more expensive food for the holidays or whatever. And that would come out of that as well, in theory, in my head. The big project that I'm working on this year is to declutter my house. I started this last summer. I got to a point. Looks like a tornado came through again. It's awful. I feel like my living room is okay, but the other areas of the house are not. It's a lot to manage, and this is just gonna be the year that I buckle down and declutter the house and get everything to a more manageable spot. We have too much stuff, it's overwhelming, and I don't want it anymore. It will be a lengthy project. Also, it's a project like through doing it, because I have been working on it like since last summer. Last summer I decided to like declutter the whole house over the summer. Don't do that, that's a terrible idea. I was gonna do one space a week. I had, what is summer, like 12 weeks or whatever. I divided the house up into separate spaces, and I was like, I'm just gonna go full board decluttering all summer long. That was awful. I fizzled out after like 3 weeks, maybe a month. Maybe I got to a month, but it was overwhelming. There's a lot of emotions involved when you're decluttering things that you've held on to for so long. There's other people involved that make it challenging to do the projects this year. And I have been working on it since last summer. I kind of slowed down. I've been doing smaller projects, which is the way to go for myself. But this year I'm giving myself the year, and I feel like if I progress at a good pace, I should be able to do a good chunk of it. I feel like that's manageable. If it's not, that's okay, as long as I'm making progress. I'm not going to beat myself up over it, but that is my big goal this year, is to get my house decluttered, get to a point where things are easier to manage, junk like that. I'd like to go through my emails. I have emails from, what was the earliest? I feel like 2010 is the earliest that I saw on that list, probably from when I created that particular email. Maybe that one's older than that. I don't remember. For whatever reason, I have all these emails. I didn't delete emails back then. Now I'm pretty good about, if I don't need it, I delete it. If I find myself deleting emails from the same contact over and over, I unsubscribe. I'm better about it, but it's disgusting. It's like over 50,000 emails, and I should just hit the delete button, but I can't because I have a lot of emotions tied to just not knowing what's in them. So I have to go through them, and that takes time and effort, and it's stressful. And it's hard to do too, because like I could sit on my phone and do it, but my phone won't let me search emails or go back further than a couple of days, which is annoying. So I've got to dig out the computer and then sit and do it. And it's a very intentional decluttering project, which is decluttering because it's digital clutter, which is arguably just as bad as other clutter. It still weighs on your brain. I'd like to get through all those, and I would like to never get to a point in my life where I have to admit that I have 50,000 emails in my inbox, because it's a little ridiculous. Most of it's probably garbage. I doubt I'll find anything that's like super special, although I know that there's pictures and things like from the past. My son is in 7th grade, and I know there's pictures like from his 4K teacher that she sent me through an email. So that's the kind of stuff I don't want to lose out on if I just hit delete on everything, because I'm pretty sentimental as a person, and I would be very sad to not be able to find those pictures in the future. So I will be going through every one. I also have a very extensive Pinterest board. Same thing, digital clutter. I already started going through and kind of categorizing that. I don't know, I mean, I could probably hit delete on most of those, and I have been, but I just kind of want to poke through them. I've got a lot of recipes, a lot of craft projects. I like to craft and crochet and dream about all these things that I'm gonna do. So I think a lot of the fantasy self stuff I'll be getting rid of. A lot of the recipes I'll kind of go through and see if there's anything I'm actually ever going to make. And then the crochet project, same thing. Like if I don't see myself ever making it, I'll just get rid of it. But a lot of the stuff I do want to make, and I kind of do hold on to that future self when I have a chance to do these things again. But we'll see how it goes. I'm trying to just get it organized. That might be a waste of time, but whatever. That's on the list. Anyways, sort my pictures. Now, according to like Minimal Mom, who I've been watching the crap out of lately, which is probably what kind of sparked this, you do like sentimental stuff last. And I've heard other minimalist people say that too. I'm not trying to be a minimalist. I can't handle that. But I understand the concepts and the principles, and I would like to invoke some of those in my daily living so I can build on those things. Got to sort the pictures, ton of pictures. I want to get them categorized. I like to scrapbook, so I'd love to get them scrapbooked. So that's on the list. I started 75 Soft yesterday. So if you haven't heard of that, 75 Hard is the challenge. It's like mental toughness challenge, I think they call it. And it helps you get regulated to a point where you stick with things, and then you do workouts and you eat better. I'm not doing 75 Hard. There have been modifications made to this program. They have a 75 Soft, a 75 Medium. They just kind of step down in the ease of it so that it's not so restrictive. But I'm started 75 Soft. With this 75 Hard, you're required to do a workout outside and a workout wherever, but one has to be outside. It's winter. You know, we get like polar temperatures where I live. I'm not gonna go outside. I'm not gonna commit to going outside every day for a workout for 45 minutes when, you know, sometimes they shut our state down and nobody goes anywhere for days. So that's not practical for me, and I'm not gonna commit to doing something like that. So went to the Soft program. It's a little more forgiving with everything. It'll kind of get me into the habit of doing these things daily. I've been working on integrating better habits since last summer, and I feel like I can take on this challenge of doing a program. It's 75 days, and there's particular goals to meet every day. So I figured I'd start there, and we'll see how it goes. I also have some walking challenges. They're like those ones that you order online and then you get a medal in the mail, and then when you finish whatever the challenge is, then you get the medal to display. They're kind of fun, you know, it's kind of exciting when you like get your medal. I've done them in the past, like here and there, and I like them, but I have a box full because last year, maybe it was like 2023 at the end of the year, I bought some for 2024 and I didn't do any of them. They just sat there, and they were all like $3 or $5 because they were on this mega clearance, and I was like, okay, that sounds great. So I have this whole box full of them, and they're kind of different themed ones for throughout the year, and I didn't do any of them because I don't know. I got issues. I don't know what they are. So I want to get them all done this year and then maybe get different ones or move on to something else. I'm not sure. But my husband and I did one yesterday, New Year's Eve, I guess it would have been 2 days ago. It was the Midnight Mile, so we went and walked. It wasn't quite midnight, but you know, you like ring in the new year walking. And so we took like a late middle of the night walk and did a mile, and that was fun. That's part of my goal, is to just use those up. I've got different ones the kids are gonna do with me. That'll be fun. Okay, let's see. I want to finish the kids' rooms. So I've painted them, but there's still like decor things, decorations that I've got to paint on, and shelves that need to be hung, and just little things like that, like finishing touch kind of things. My son needs curtains put up in his room. I did film redoing those rooms, but I haven't posted them. I don't know why I do that, but we just finished my daughter's room. It looks awesome. Maybe I did post that. No, I don't think I did yet. But it looks really awesome, and I will get it posted at some point, but I still need to do some finishing things in there. So that's on the list for this year, to get that stuff finished so that their rooms can be checked off the list and I don't have to think about them anymore. Because right now they just linger in my brain about how I have these things to do, and I hate that. I'd like to be consistent with posting. I was trying to be better about it last October, you know, a couple months ago, and I thought I was doing good, but then we had some crap happen, and this is the first video I've posted in a while. So I'd like to get back to being consistent. Gotta clean the basement, basically. That's what that one is. We've got to finish up working on the other house, which is a huge project. It's gonna take several months. I've got boxes and boxes of old paperwork I've got to go through. Again, this is kind of like the emails. Like, I should be able to just, I don't know, burn it or whatever. Most of it's irrelevant. I've gone through quite a few of the boxes, but I've got a big tall stack and I can't just get rid of it all because, you know, what if there's a piece of paper my kid scribbled on? Like, I got to keep that. I know I've got issues. I'm working on them, but I cannot just trash the boxes. I have to go through them, and there's a lot, and it's going to take a while. So I feel like in a year, I should be able to get through all that paperwork if I'm intentional about it. This one I was kind of debating if I even wanted to mention, but I want to verbalize my goals and put them out to the universe so that they can become real. I am writing a book. I've actually written a few books, nothing's published. I've got one that's being illustrated. It's a kid's book, it's really cute. Anyways, I've been working on this particular one since my oldest daughter was little. She was probably 4 to 6 range, and it was a story that I used to tell her, and we would like go out walking and hiking or whatever, and I would tell her this story, and I always wanted to write it into a book. I've literally been working on it for years, like over a decade. I'm still working on it. I still want to get it done. I've got, you know, a few chapters written, probably like, I don't know, 100, 150 pages written. And it's exciting for me, but I haven't been prioritizing actually writing it. And I would like to finish it this year. And that's a total goal of mine. I've always wanted to be an author since I was a kid. I've wanted to be an author, and I really, really like this story. So that's a goal, to finish this book, at least to the point where I can like maybe hire an editor or whatever, so that I can move this forward, because I would like to get this one published. I feel like it'll be amazing. Anywho, enough about that. That's kind of my vulnerable spot where I don't tell a lot of people that, but here you go, internet, here we go. I've been wanting to learn the guitar, so I put that on the list, but then my daughter found me a violin. Violin has always been like my dream instrument that I thought I would never learn. She found one on Facebook and she went and got it. It's like a beginner, it's a full size from what I understand, but it's like a beginner little kid violin. And I'm gonna start learning that instead of the guitar and see how far I can get. I'm super excited about that. She said it would be like my birthday present, which is super funny because my birthday's so far away, but she's super sweet and I'm happy she did that because I am gonna get a lot of joy out of doing that. So I'm gonna learn the violin this year. I wanna learn how to do a handstand. This is gonna be a crazy year. I've always, since I was a teenager, wanted to do a handstand. I was strong and thin back then. I don't know why I didn't just do it. I have no idea. I've gotten some perspective lately, and I'm just gonna do the things because life is too short to sit around saying I can't do that. So I'm just gonna do it, and that's it. So I'm gonna learn how to do a handstand. I've seen fat chicks do handstands. It's totally possible. It's just about muscle. So I can do that. I want to be diligent about bullet journaling. I started doing it 2 years ago, I think. Really, really enjoyed it. But again, I didn't prioritize it, so it fell by the wayside. I basically didn't do it all of last year. I had this big thought that I was gonna go back and try to like fill out one for last year. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. That's dumb. So I'm just gonna make sure that I start this year and be diligent about it and make sure that I work on it, you know, at least every couple of days. Even if I don't do it every day, that's fine. I also am thinking that I'm gonna keep like a journal just for my thoughts and stuff, because like I tell the kids, this is the bullet journal that I started. I just, you know, it's just cute. And I told the kids, if you want to look in here, it's fine. It's not anything like personal. It's just like all the Christmas movies we watched. It's things that are special to our family and things that we do together, like highlights of the day, what's happening this month, you know, things like that. So, oh, that one's pretty. I really love doing it. I love stickers. I love, you know, pretty colors, and I would like to do it this year. So my point is, the kids have access to this one, and that's totally fine, and I want them to share those memories too. But I also would like to go back to keeping a private journal just so I can get my thoughts out. I am an overthinker. My brain swirls constantly. If I can get that crap down, at least on a piece of paper, I feel like that might help me organize my thoughts a little. So, and actually it did. I used to keep a journal and I would write in it just about every day, and that did help me. So I'd like to get back to doing that. I have blankies to make for my kids. Oh, I'm ridiculous. So I'm such an overthinker that I overthink myself right out of doing things. When my daughter, well, before my oldest daughter was born, I taught myself how to knit. And one of the first projects that I started on was a baby blanket because I liked it. I thought it was cute. I'm kind of a go big or go home. So I picked this huge project that I didn't know how to do as my first like knitting project. And apparently it was like lace knitting, which I've now learned, last year I learned is a very difficult knitting technique. But nobody told me I couldn't do it, so I just did it. It's really cute. I'm gonna have to like grab a picture of it to show you. It's these little like pony rocking horse things. I set it aside, life happened. I didn't have any issue with making a baby blanket because I always wanted to be a mom and I knew my first kid would get it. So by the time I finished it, because I had it like done, but I didn't have the border on. And so I didn't put that border on, I think, until she was 6. And she got her baby blanket when she was 6. And I was like, I'm never doing this again. I'm gonna get the baby blankets done for the kids when they're babies, and I'm not gonna do this again. Well, I did, because I'm on kid number 4, and those 3 don't have baby blankets. When I was pregnant this last time, I was on track to get my son's baby blanket done. Would have had it done, but he came almost 3 weeks early, and so I haven't finished it because basically he was supposed to be born in, well, no, it was supposed to be May, but he was going to be a Gemini, and so I had that worked into the pattern with his star sign, but he turned out to be a Taurus because he was born so early. So because I already had that square done, I was like, now I have to restart the whole thing because it's done in a way that you can't just change one section, you have to start over. And I was so disappointed, and then I just had a baby, and you know, there was a lot of stuff going on, whatever. And so I never finished his blanket. I have to basically restart it. My younger daughter is gonna be 10. She doesn't have her baby. Anyways, you get the point. I have issues. What I decided to do is I'm gonna upscale these blankets. I'm gonna make them the same way I would have made them if they were babies, but I'm gonna make them big enough that they can actually use them now. And I'm just going to let go of the guilt of not having them done when they were babies. It is what it is. Whatever, I have to move on. But that's on the list for this year. I would at least like to get my younger daughter's blanket done, but if I can get the 2 boys done too, that would be awesome. Journal every day. I'd like to read at least 1 book per month. I'm a really, really slow reader, and I want to read more. I like reading. I enjoy it. Like I said, I've always wanted to be an author. I've always loved to read, but just with the chaos of my life, it's difficult for me to focus enough to get into a book. So, you know, I just do my best, and I'd like to read 1 book a month this year, at least. If I can get more, that'd be great. I want to prioritize self-care, weekly resets for myself, and then doing meal planning and meal prepping, because that really helps me. I like to do meal prep so I can stay on top of my own eating and making sure that dinner's ready for the kids. I'm not good with timing, so sometimes, you know, especially over this Christmas break, we've been eating pretty late. And I know one of the nights it was like 7 o'clock before I fed them, and I felt so bad, but again, it is what it is. I do my best. I just need to strive to be better. So that is everything. I did think of something last night I wanted to add to this, but I can't remember, so it probably wasn't that great. But those are my goals and things that I want to work on for this year. If anybody is interested in a particular thing, let me know. I can try to prioritize filming that. Otherwise, I'll just do what I can. I've got big ambitions, and I feel like giving myself a year, I'm gonna accomplish all this. That's my feeling right now on January 2nd. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to put a lot of my effort into getting these things done and feeling really accomplished this year. So let me know if there's anything you're interested in seeing. Tell me what your goals are. Did you set any goals or resolutions? You got any big plans for the year? Yeah. Let me know what your thoughts are, and I will catch you next week sometime. Bye.